core SQL Server interview questions and answer. First question, what is normalization? Normalization is the process of organizing data into tables to reduce redundancy and improve data integrity. Example, splitting customer detail into customers table and their orders into order tables and their histories in a history table. In this way we can organize and normalize the data. If we want to retrieve, we can use joins to retrieve our data in meaningful manner. Second question, difference between cluster and non-cluster index. Cluster index sort and store data rows in the table based on key values, only one per table. Non-cluster index store pointer to data rows, allowing multiple per table. For example, cluster index on customer ID, which will create during primary key. If we create a primary key, automatically index will create. Non-cluster index, again email ID or some other name details, where your data, it will allow duplication as well, and at the same time it will use for retrieving a record faster. But cluster index is like restructuring the data based on the cluster ID. Okay, it will first sort the data and then it will restructure the table completely based on a cluster ID. Whatever column we have created a cluster, it will restructure. But non-cluster index is just a pointer. It will not affect any in your table. This is the biggest example of a cluster and non-cluster. In a non-cluster, it will allow duplications. It will not create any, it will not impact your structural. Third question, what are constraints? Rules applied to column table to enforce data integrity. For examples, primary key, foreign key, unique, check, default and not null. These are the constraints which is we are creating for any table. Certain rules like a primary key, again it will not allow duplications. Okay, it will not allow duplications and it will not allow a null value as well. So if you create a primary key, then you are sure there is no any duplications. A foreign key, it is like pointing to a primary key. Whatever data present in a primary key, that value only you can make it available in a foreign key column. For example, your base table is employee table is your base table. In under employee table, if employee ID is not present, that employee history is in historical record. If we find that employee ID, it is not valuable. That's the reason it will point as a primary and foreign. Foreign key will represent a pointer to a primary key. Unique key, again you want any record as a unique value. That time you will create a unique key. Unique key constraint will allow one null value, but it will not allow more than one null value, and duplications, it will not allow duplications. Check, if you want to create any check point, check constraint, that time you can use check. And the default value, if any if you want give in place of null value default value, you can use default constraint. And not null, again it will not allow a null value, but here duplications and all is acceptable, and then in that case you will use null value, not null value. Delete will remove a row, and we can use where clause. Use where clause in delete, and it is like a slower. When we fire a delete operation is slower, and truncate will remove all the rows, and it is faster than delete. and you can't use where clause in a truncate operations. Truncate you can't able to roll back, but delete there is a possibility of rollback as well. Okay, what are triggers? Trigger is a special procedure that automatically execute on event like insert, update or delete. If you want to specifically include any trigger, that time you can use after instead of trigger. After or instead of trigger means if you want to catch the trigger, who is inserted, who is updated, who is deleted. After operations you want the record like who is inserted, who updated, deleted, and from which system, on what time. That all information we can catch after insert, update, delete. Instead of means if you done a insert, update, delete, but you don't want to execute that. Before executions we require the record. In that time we can use instead of this some other operations will execute. Thank you so much. Hi guys, welcome back to channel. Today we are going to see one of the main mission critical issues for a mission critical database. The database is like a financial application is hosted on 2022 SQL Server, which is for OLTP applications. Okay, the application size is very huge, and that is pointing to 1 TB of database for financial use the database, and we have come up with 5,000 concurrent user during a peak hour 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The monitoring tool which I have used is SQL Server DBA, Active Monitor, Grafana, Dashboard, CloudWatch. Everything is present, but we have faced 5,000 concurrent user, and the scale of database is 1 TB, and everything is work fine. So what was the issues, how I have come up with the issues, how I have deal with such issues. This is one of the most asking questions. Generally in an interviewer is asking some question in that, have you faced any critical issues, how you have deal with critical issue, have you come up with some critical issue in your environment, how you have faced such a kind of questions interviewer ask generally. So in that this is the one most like answerable for cracking the interview, I can say. So as I said, the database is like the database size is 1 TB, and we have a 5,000 concurrent, and it is for OLTP. So in that scenario, what we have seen, I have used the OLTP work is using a large SSIS ETL job started at 9:15 p.m. I mean 9:15 a.m. the job is run, ETL job is run, which is overlap, and during a peak hour the transaction load is happen. Due to this jobs log multiple high volume tables like transactional orders. These all tables are interdependent with ETL job. As when we are when we are doing any activity in any table, generally it will log that particular table as per SQL ACID property rules. So we have seen the transactional and order table are loading, and during the load the begin and statement is used, and not only load, some high volume of operation also been going on in ETL. So while verifying we get to know this work should not be happen during a business hour, and applications query timing is taken almost business hour. So I have diagnosed this blocking session using sys.dm underscore execute request, which I will share in a description. Generally, select blocking session ID, wait time, wait resource from sys.dm underscore execute request when we fire, where blocking session ID not equal to 0. So it will provide the list of blocking session who all are blocking, okay, which all session is blocking, and from how much time it is blocking. So we will get to know some details on this. Then later we will see the text of that particular query using execute request with cross apply SQL text, SQL handle SQL text. So we will get the particular script, we will see the particular job script which is working, and whether it is running from outside the program or in a internal SQL, or it is a scheduling job. These all things we will understood first. So when I get to know the job is running, ETL job is running, and it is holding the log for every transactional, because of this we are getting a 5000 transaction, like 5000 transaction is logged. So I completely given advice, this should not be run under a business hour. SSIS job is scheduled at 7:15, which is a business hour. It is again a govern. So I have given a statement to change the scheduling job. Okay, this is the one parameter which I have. And second, I have tried to read the execution plan of the particular query. Okay, when I have read the execution plan, I understood the execution plan itself is not good. Lot of buffer is used. I mean, unnecessarily column are included in a table, and then it is filtered out. So I asked them to reduce that, required table only include in a select statement, so it will not create hash key again and again. And then I have realized non-cluster index is scanned, it is not properly in use. So I asked them to we can recreate with this particular index, this particular column to include in a non-cluster, so that our buffer time will reduce. Okay, and finally I have verified and I given a suggestion to include some add-on column. Later I given an advisory to run the ETL job around 2 a.m. off peak hour, and added a critical index, implemented govern rules, no heavy ETL during peak hours should run, and performance monitoring alert for blocking is more than 60 seconds I have included, and introduced base regression testing before deployment. Okay, these all things I have made to improve. Thank you so much.